Perhaps a dragon was just what we needed.
What a dreadful thing to say, Salazar.
A few muggles might be just what a supreme need, judging from their most recent evidence. Exactly when was the last time your house won the Quidditch Cup, Salazar?
I will not dignify that with an answer, Godric.
Oh, listen to all of us quarreling. Our guests must think us most ungracious hosts.
I just got back from Universal, and so you saw the clips that I have. Me enjoying my vacation I had. Sorry I hadn't made videos in a while, but I'm back. And yeah, I had a good time. Spent about 2 weeks in Universal and had a great time. Did the Harry Potter thing and all that stuff and new developments. Too bad we didn't go later or stay later or just go in the summer for the Velociraptor coaster or something like that. That's the new ride coming out from the Jurassic Park section of Universal. And it's going to be like the fastest ride in Universal. And so it's going to be sort of like Hagrid's ride in Universal, but it's in a Jurassic Park type of thing. So I think they're following that model. But anyway, I'm back. And what I want to talk about today is about one of my favorite directors, especially my favorite director in the superhero genre, Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder is pretty much of a genius. His official name is Zack Edward Snyder, and in the industry they called him the Wizard. He inspires me most as a director. As a director, a beginning novice director myself. I think I have some influence. I think he has some influence on my take of directing. But I find his style and his genius in is the visuals and also putting soundtracks to the visuals in his films and cinematography. There's so many things that he's done that I see that are completely genius, and so we're gonna go down that list, and I'll just talk about what inspired me, what I see in his work, and his latest accomplishments, especially with the Justice League Zack Snyder cut. I mean, we'll go into that. I won't even begin that now because, anyway. One of his first official feature films is called Dawn of the Dead, and he produced it in 2004. This is a feature film that I first witnessed his work as a filmmaker of a feature film, and it was his first feature film that he produced for a major production company. So, production studio. When I first saw this film that was created in 2004, I love the spin on the unliving horror story type genre, and his style was so different and fast paced. And that's all before all of the other zombies film after that. I think they kind of followed his take on it because of the style he took. It was quick, fast-paced, suspenseful. It had you on the edge of your seats. It was very modern. It had a definite certain style, and it made a lot of money for his first film, which was low budget, and he put all his film into all the budget of the film into special effects. And this was kind of about special effects in a different way with green screen and computer work, graphic work, and things like that. And so this was an entirely different kind of zombie film that had a definite style. And so I didn't know who directed it at the time when I saw the film, but I clearly knew that this was a film that had a certain style to it. I really enjoyed it. It really was breathtaking during that time. And you see the results of it because it was a box office hit. His next film, it was 300 that got me involved to really find out who directed this film. When I saw 300, it was like a style that was unprecedented at the time. It was like with green screen and the graphics and the visuals and the mood and the style. And it was a comic book adaptation of Frank Miller, and he did it in such a style that was Frank Miller, but did it even beyond that. And this was when I first noticed or wanted to inquire who Zack Snyder was, and or who directed this film, which is Zack Snyder. And if you've seen this film is basically iconic. It was the first of its kind. It was something innovative, something unique in the film world, and he just made a huge stamp in the film industry with 300. I would love to be in any of his films and directing any of my projects, because I'm a comic book lover myself, and I have a comic book line myself, which is Digital Noise and, all that stuff. And I have comic book titles. So any film that comes to mind, I have his style in mind for my films. But anyway, the next film, 2009, and it is called The Watchmen. And as we all know, The Watchmen is a comic book adaptation, and for me, it blew my mind. I thought 300 was something, but The Watchmen is just it blew my mind in a different way, because this was like the first superhero film. It wasn't like a Marvel film or anything like that. It had its own personality. He put his own stamp into it. He started the slow motion with music and the slow motion of doing action. He started that whole doing soundtracks to certain scenes that were action. And he did that also with 300, but he even carried it further on to The Watchmen, and it really defined the style of the superhero genre, where you see music and action in the superhero genre film. And he just made his designer brand from that style, and he created that style. And I've seen superhero films prior, but now I'm seeing, after he made The Watchmen, I've noticed that other comic book films started to follow that kind of pattern and slow motion and just that kind of visuals with the slow motion and the music and the special effects. He is a master of that, and I've seen other copies that did a pretty good job, but I think he's the master of it. And that was just something that he would put and make a comic book come to life. Like each scene would look like a comic book panel, and he would edify that on another level. So this is when I saw the superhero genre that Zack Snyder owned that genre. And so, The Watchmen is clearly like a president that is an icon in the superhero genre film. His next film, which was an animated film, is called Legends of the Guardian. And Legends of the Guardian was his first animated film feature, and it was 3D. And it's just as stunning and just as beautiful as any of his live action films. But this was all animated, and it was like his first type of PG type of film, and I thought it was absolutely stunning. If you haven't seen it, you have to just take a peek at it, and I can see him do or direct any Disney animated title. That's what I would love to see. I would love to see that. From that experience of watching that film, I totally believe and trust that he can handle a Disney title film that has to deal with animation. I think it'll be a great I think he would take that on another level as well. I think he would take the Disney brand and the Disney genre of animation and take it to another level. And I think people would, it would be something to witness. I mean, I hope Disney one day would just, try him out and see what kind of a product he would come out with. I would say, what fairy tale story would be cool that he could redo? I mean, that's something to think about. With this film, I think he can go very soft and feminine too. I think he could do. I would love to see a 3D version of Princess and the Frog. I think he would do those characters justice. I think it would be. I would love to see him do a scene with Mama Odie and also the voodoo villain that was in that film. It would be amazing to see the visuals of how he would handle that and how he would tell that from a Disney brand point of view. The next film that Zack Snyder proved to me that he could do a female superhero film was the film Sucker Punch that came out in 2011. 2011 was a project that was on the back burner for him for a while, and it's sort of like a spin on Alice in Wonderland type story, but in a Alice in Wonderland with edge and style. So I guess that would be could be a Disney take, but not what I had in mind. But it was very rough, very cool, very sexy. It was basically all female heroines, and he did it in a style that was just like magic. And a lot of people didn't take to the story too much, but I saw genius within that film. I mean, if you saw the angles and the cinematography, which was perfection, you would be spellbound by it. Like just the visuals itself. And that's when I knew if he did a Wonder Woman, it would kick plenty of butt. So I knew from then and there, when I saw Sucker Punch, I couldn't wait to see his rendition of Wonder Woman on film. And who would he pick? What stories would he do? I instead of producing the film, I wish he would. I would love to see a Wonder Woman film that he produced and directed himself, and how he would take the character and his vision, just purely. And I mean, he did a good job with, well, we'll talk about that coming up for the next films that we're going to talk about, which we come up to one of my all-time top 3 favorite superhero films, Man of Steel. I know there's a lot of controversy about this film. There's I don't know what the deal was with this film, but I think this film is like one of the best comic book superhero films that was ever made. I mean, just just from the casting, Henry Cavill's like almost the perfect Superman, but the best Superman I've ever seen being casted. The visuals was amazing. I love the casting he did with the other characters surrounding him. I mean, it was, everybody was is an amazing actor or actress. That film, it even went beyond The Watchmen. I thought he did a fantastic, or he couldn't do better of a superhero film than The Watchmen. I saw Superman, and The Watchmen pales in comparison. So when The Man of Steel came out, it came out in 2013. I was glued to the screen, and I saw that film at least 9 times in the theater. I don't know. I mean, people have an issue with some of the storylines or whatever of the film. It didn't bother me at all. From what I saw, it was an inexperienced man who had these amazing superpowers, and he never had to fight anyone with these superpowers that was equal to his. And this was his first battle with somebody who had his same powers. And so, I won't spoil the film if you haven't seen it. People have a lot of conflict with the end of the story, and they say, oh, it's not the Superman we know and love. We've already had those films. I don't know why we need to do another film like that. You can go see the old films that was created in the 80s for that Superman. I think this Superman was created for the new generation. This Superman was made for the generation X and Z's, for the future of Superman to reign on going forward. So I absolutely love this, The Man of Steel, and I love who he created as Superman from his vision, and I absolutely have no problem with it. If I directed the film, I would go in that route myself. This is how I visually, even before Zack Snyder, or even before I saw any of Zack Snyder films, this is how I saw comic books visually come to life the way he directs. I think you understand what I'm saying. So look at the cinematography again, look at the casting, look at the imaginations of the ideas they came up with for props. And, for me, the storyline worked well for me, and it made Superman believable. For me, it did. I mean, there may be 1 or 2 problems here I had a problem with, but didn't hamper the film for me at all. Absolutely love it. One of my favorite superhero films ever. The next film that I really enjoy, but not as much, I think he created this film out of pressure, more so than coming from himself. I think the execs after after Man of Steel had a little bit of a backlash, I think the executives kind of forced him to do Superman versus Batman, and I think it was clouded with others' ideas and things like that. I may be mistaken. Batman versus Superman, again, the visuals were amazing. I thought the story was too convoluted, but I still enjoyed the visuals, the cinematography, the way his take on the superhero, and some of the casting was I was kind of iffy about, but overall, I mean, I still forgive this film because I absolutely love his visuals and his direction and cinematography. And Batman vs Superman is it was a good movie. It was a good movie, but mostly because of the visuals and the visual direction of it. And that comes into my next this next film had a lot of problems, and I don't think it's the fault of Zack Snyder. And it was a film I was looking forward to. It was a film that I couldn't wait to see it. I couldn't wait to buy the tickets, and it was, yeah. But the next film is the Justice League, and it was created in 2017. What could I say about it? There's a lot of problems that happened with this film. There was a lot of personal things that happened in Zack Snyder's life. There was a lot of problems with dealing with the executives at Warner Brothers. From what I hear, it wasn't completely his vision. He did the film halfway, and there were some personal problems that happened, and plus he was dealing and fighting with the execs during that time. I don't know if they're still there with the film. And also they, in the middle, I guess, of the film, they hired another director, Josh Whedon, Josh Whedon is a good director himself, but I think the movie failed in so many ways because it was two directors' input of a film that didn't work. These two directors have totally different styles. Zack Snyder and Josh Whedon. It really actually killed the movie and the film. There was a lot of things that were replaced that shouldn't have been replaced in the film. It was just a mess, and that shows you that a director's vision is unique. A director's vision has a strong brand, has a strong look, has a strong direction. And each director's vision is different. That showed me right there because I'm used to a certain quality coming from Zack Snyder. And when I saw that film, I knew that quality was compromised because of the choices that the execs made for this film. And you will see why I say that, because even though the 2017 film of the Justice League was a bomb, the major success came in Justice League 2021's Snyder's cut of the film. I mean, that just proves it right there. Like, from the bad reviews from 2017 from fans and critics alike, to the major success and love of the film that people have of the Snyder cut of the Justice League, shows you Zack Snyder's genius if it's not tampered with at all and just purely his vision. If you've seen the Zack Snyder's cut of the film, I mean, there's nothing else to say. Like, his film is amazing. I think his vision is just every detail of the film was just stunning. The editing to his soundtrack to his direction is sublime, and it's basically undeniable. And if you see this film, you will understand what I'm saying about the film. And it was a major, or it is a major success for HBO. HBO Plus, I think it is, yeah. So that's the streaming channel of HBO, and it gained so many subscribers, and it was this film just made a movement. It made a cult fan following that is not really a small cult. It's like a major cult. It's like basically millions of people want the Snyderverse of the DCU. They want him to take over the DCU and call it Snyderverse. And they want to see all DC films take his vision, which I think that would be a great move. And that would be a smart move if Warner Brothers is, thinking correctly. So put it like that. So it's just, and ongoing forward, I can't wait to see his upcoming films. And his upcoming film is Army of Darkness. And it looks fantastic. I mean, if you've seen the trailer of it, it's pretty amazing as well. And I'm sure he's going to take the genre horror to another level with this film. I can't wait. I'm sure it'll be a big hit. But anyhow, I wanted to give my accolades to Zack Snyder and how I'm influenced by his film direction and his vision with my directing and my vision. And just wanted to give him accolades and homage to Zack Snyder and his success and his future success as a film. And I do see a connection of my directing because he works a lot with soundtracks and scenes, and that's what I see from my first attempt in directing. My first film that I've directed, which is called Sketchy, The Tales of the Black Doodler. You'll see that a lot of my film. Also, I would love to see his take on a MCU type of project. I know Feige would oversee it and everything, but I think it would be cool to see his take on a project of the MCU. You know what? That'll be something I'll talk about. I have a certain project in mind that I have an idea that I think it would be great for. But that'll be on my YouTube channel called Comic Book Noise. But anyhow, I hope you all are well. I got to get back to work. Peace.